Hey crew, how's it going guys? Ollie here. In this video we're going to be going through a yin yoga hip flexion practice. This is a physical practice as well as a mental one and an emotional one for you as well. As you can see, I have toned down the lights a little for this one. So yin yoga is quite a restorative, meditative, relaxational form of yoga. And specifically in this class, we're going to be working through hip flexion, helping blood circulation in the legs, helping your ankles, helping relieve tension through the lower back, helping your general movement in this plane so that you can move freely around the house and help any niggles, aches, pains, help your postural alignment so that you've got good control of your body, you can get about and you can be active without injury. So it's a really gentle practice. I don't want you to force anything. I want you to just sit with your body, sit with your feeling as you're in the stretch, and be patient. Don't force anything. Let time do the work for you. We're going to be in each position for about 2 to 3 minutes, and your mind can go a long way in 2 to 3 minutes as well, right? So it is a practice of regulating our thinking as well. So it's an opportunity for your brain to process and think everything that comes out of your head, and for you to organize your mind. So as we hold the positions, I want you to try and concentrate on your breathing. The physical practice is that we relieve tension and stress that we've accumulated in the body, but with the mental practice and the breath practice, we are trying to stimulate what's called our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our body's relaxation response. And it's our ability to regulate the stress from accumulating in the first place and controlling our physical response and our physical state through breathing, through concentration. So join me in this yin yoga hips practice. We'll start in child's pose. If you've got any blankets, blocks, props, get them handy and prepare to chill out. All right, so we'll be starting this practice in child's pose, from hands and knees. As I say, you're at home, dim the lights and put on maybe some of your favorite relaxing music. Split the knees about as wide as the mat, tuck your toes together. You want to keep yourself warm for this class as well, because we're not going to be moving very quickly. So it might be nice to put the heating on or do this by the fire. Just going to soften your hips here, your knees. You can use a couple pillows, even if it's just off the sofa, to soften it, or yoga bolsters, props and blocks. If you've got a couple of yoga blocks, you can always stack a few pillows on top and just jump right on top, and that makes it even more gentle for you. Soft is the approach with this class. And whilst we sit in these stretches and these postures, I want you to understand how the breathing works, and to try and concentrate on breathing to your full capacity as much as possible as we soften and open up all of your connective tissue. We want to take oxygen and blood deeper and deeper into your tissues. Also exercise your cardiovascular system and your respiratory muscles to help our heart rate, our blood pressure, to regulate our cortisol levels. The more oxygen that you get into your blood, the less stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, which create not only anxiety but also inflammation and decay of our cells, of our whole body. It accelerates the aging process. You ready from here? We're going to move gently up onto hands and knees. Toss any blocks, props off to one side after that child's pose. And then from hands and knees, tuck the toes underneath you. And we're just going to warm up the wrists and the spine a little bit through a really simple practice called cat-cow. As you inhale, we're going to lift the chin and chest, look up, try and look into your brain. And then as you exhale, look at your belly button, chin goes on your chest, spread your shoulder blades like wings. Inhale, lift, look up, exhale, chin on chest. Try and feel the back of your neck stretching, feel the skin under your chin. Biggest, slowest breaths and biggest, slowest bends you've got. And you're ready. Finishing on an exhale. Big push. And then from there, we're just going to gently come back into a hero pose. Again, this is where you might use your blocks and props, your pillows. If you're a bit sore in the knees, you can stuff a couple pillows under the back of your legs, or take a couple yoga blocks, come into what we call supported hero, where we'll just, depending on how tight your legs are, you can control it through how high you put the block. So if you're really tight, ease yourself down with more and more pillows and blocks. Otherwise, just come back, sit seated into hero. Shake the wrists off a little, let the shoulder blades relax. Find a comfortable seat, adjusting the width of your knees accordingly. I would recommend knees and feet a little wider, just as a good habit. Let your shoulders go nice and soft and heavy. Let your facial muscles go soft. Close the eyes. I'm just going to count 5 breaths here. If you're quite flexible, you can start going back a bit further into a reclined hero. But what we want to do is keep our pelvis pushed up to create this line of extension through the hip flexors on the front side of your pelvis. If you're feeling brave and you're good, drop a bit lower. But wherever you can breathe, if you start holding your breath, you've gone too far. We want stillness. Wherever you feel comfortable. So if you're doing this at home, I know you'll be eager to push and test yourself, but we're here for a while, remember, so don't bite off more than you can chew. Just because I've gone down low doesn't mean you have to. If you can get down low and you're good there, from there over time we're going to tuck the head. Make sure we keep the hips pushed up and get this stretch through the chin and neck again. Last 30 seconds, guys, really well done. Wherever you are, make sure you stay with your breath. So if you are quite new to this and you're tight in this position, feel free just to stay up tall. Last few moments, give me one more big deep breath. And then gently, slowly, ease yourself back up. 2 hands and knees. Wherever you are, if you were just seated on your feet, I'm sure you'll appreciate this next bit. We're going to counter stretch, tuck the toes, let the blood come back into the legs. And then once you've done both legs and you can feel them again, and the blood's come back into the legs, we're going to lift into our first downward facing dog. So spread your fingers nice and wide, lift the knees up, little soft bend in the knees. If you need, rest your chin on your chest. You're aiming your chest towards your thighs. We want to push nice and strong through the arms, try and lock the elbows out. But again, feel free to put that little bend through the legs. And breathe. Long, strong breaths, like you mean it. Like you're really trying. Really push through the arms. The floor is a pretty heavy object if you push hard enough. Last 30 seconds. On and off as much as you need. Feel free to drop into child's pose. And then gently, when you're ready, drop the knees down. Sit your butt all the way back to your heels. And take me 3 rounds of what we call ujjayi breath. Just to see if you can try and stop thinking. When you've done 3 breaths, gently bring yourself back up to hands and knees. And then from hands and knees, you might need to push yourself up into a tall kneeling position and then bring the right foot up into what we call a half kneeling position. From my half kneeling position, I'm going to drop my left hand down potentially onto a yoga block if you're real tight. Here, and if your back leg is a bit sore on the floor or you're on a particularly hard floor, feel free to stick a pillow underneath the knee and use that block to kind of help you control the intensity in which you take this lunge. Like I said, sometimes less is more, and we're going to be here for a little while. So gradually over time, you'll start to work yourself lower. Both hands down to the floor. Try and maintain strength through your foot, through your standing foot, and pushing into the ground, feeling your muscles fire up a little without really aggressively pushing. Just get every part of your foot in contact with the floor. Last 30 seconds, if you are feeling strong, we can start thinking about bringing this right arm up, but make sure that your left hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder are in a nice straight line. As we then take a big inhale, pull the right arm up. Don't fall off out to the side. Don't strain yourself if it's too much. But if you can hold on for 30 seconds, bring that right arm up. And then gently, when you're ready, take the right hand down. Slowly step yourself back into a child's pose for 3 rounds of Ujjayi breath. Use your lungs. In a normal breath, we may only get 40% of our lung capacity involved. And that's a lot of oxygen to be missing out on. That's why we get so nervous and why we have trouble with anxiety and panic attacks, because the breath rate, the respiratory rate accelerates. When we're deprived of oxygen, high on adrenaline and high on cortisol, that's what happens. When you've done your 3 breaths, you gently bring yourself back to hands and knees, and we play the same game. We go again on the other side, left foot up to the left wrist. Coming into your lizard lunge. Again, keep yourself nice and symmetrical, so if you do need to come up into a half kneeling position and use a yoga block, that's totally cool. It's all relative to how much tension there is in your hips. So even if you're up here and it's pretty tough, actually for you this is going to be even more beneficial. But you just have to play a slower game. You have to pay more attention. You have to breathe more, and you have to have more patience and control. Gradually over time, working your way down lower, potentially even onto forearms. Just giving yourself time to think. When you're ready, last 30 seconds. If you want to take the arm up, if you did it on the other side, you got to do it on this side. Keep everything nice and symmetrical. And again, if you need a yoga block, feel free. We're going to be here for another 20 seconds or so. And then gently, when you're ready, ease yourself bit by bit back into child's pose. Just notice your thoughts. Try and count those 3 breaths. Amazing work, really well done. That's the last of the groundwork. We're going to swing the legs around out in front of you. Come seated. And then we're going to come into a really great pose called Janusarasana, or half cobbler's position. So from seated, we're going to bring the right foot into the right thigh, into the left thigh. Maybe potentially just the knee to begin with if you're real tight, otherwise over time. Get this foot up nice and high into the groin. And then let this right hip externally rotate. If you're a bit tight, you might use a yoga strap or a tea towel or something to hook for the toes, but start small, be patient. Remember, what we're going to do, we're going to lead with the chest, and we're going to be aiming our nose towards the toes, not nose to the knees. We don't want this rounding through the spine. We don't want this extension of the lumbar spine. We want to be flexed through the spine. As you inhale, pull the arms up. Lead with your chin, your chest, wherever you land. Nice and strict. The hamstrings are a bit tight here. That's very, very normal. So feel free to use that yoga strap or that tea towel. And then again, bring your attention back to your breath. Last few moments, couple big deep breaths. Again, try and be active and strong. Push the right foot nice and firmly. Strong through the lower back. Pull the toes towards you. With or without the hands or the strap. Last breath. And then gently shake the legs off. And we'll flip it over, swap for the other side. Bring the left foot into the right thigh. Nice and strict, lead with the chin, the chest. Big inhale, arms up. Nose towards the toes, nipple to knee. Last 30 seconds, big deep breaths. And then gently, when you're ready, you can take both legs out in front. Give them a little shake. And then from there, just for a moment, again, feel free to use your pillow or your yoga block. We're going to prop ourselves up slightly on our butt. And then from there, pull the feet in. Don't have to come all the way in though. We want to find the sits bones and the sacrum. It's really easy to kind of like sit on our spine here and round our back. So don't be afraid to sitting elevated as high as you need to really work these knees down and open up the hips. I could do this seated, but I actually will feel like I get a better position if I elevate myself. So that you can really untuck all of your spine and sit as tall as you can. And then you're going to close the eyes, gaze at the point between the eyebrows. Relax the facial muscles, keep the spine straight, and then just count me 5 breaths. When you've done your 5 breaths, gently shake your legs out in front of you. You're going to roll yourself down, vertebrae by vertebrae, onto your spine. Drop the feet to the floor. If you feel quite uncomfortable with your spine on the floor, you might try with a little pillow underneath the small of your back and then letting the legs fall out. Now adjusting the position of that pillow. Otherwise, over time, your spine will settle. It may take a little while for you to really settle down and for your skeletal system to realign. So you may, for a minute or two, sit with your feet up and not feel comfortable with your legs out, and that's totally okay. It's just going to take you a bit longer for everything to kind of relax. As we go through our day and we interact with our environment, we elevate our stress response and our stress levels. We accumulate stress. Depending on the day, if you had a busy day, you will have a busy mind. So we've just been through a physical practice of releasing some of that tension to feel a bit lighter. But also building a patience and a resilience to combat stress. For all that movement, we're just going to stretch off the spine. It's important after any deep stretching to just finish with a little twist. So we're going to drive the right knee into the chest, roll all the way over to the left, try and ground your right knee. And again, you could stick a couple pillows. Oh, I'm going to roll to the left to show you because you'll see better this side. But as I roll over, I'm going to aim to ground the knee, right? Let the shoulder come up and then twist through the spine, then we'll work the shoulder down. But work on grounding this leg and getting this deep twist. Let this leg come well over. I don't want your foot sitting on your shin. See that quite a lot. Just try and drag and roll as far as you can, and then twist and breathe. Big breath from the belly. And then gently roll yourself back onto your back. Take a moment, take a breath before you go in for the other side. When you feel ready, bring the right knee in and roll all the way over to the other side. Just pay attention, real close attention to what you can feel. And respond and adjust accordingly. Go on a little journey into your body. Big deep breath. And then gently ease yourself back onto your back. Let the spine relax and settle. Again, as I say, it might take a moment or two for your body to soften, but gradually let the legs come out over time. Relax your facial muscles, let your body temperature drop, close the eyes, soften your lips, your cheeks, your jaw. When we're stressed, we'll grind our teeth, we'll raise our eyebrows. All of the blood vessels and capillaries constrict in our brain, causing tension, head tension, and lack of blood flow in certain parts of your brain. So just see if you can really relax your brain. Soften down your chest, feel your heart. Try and slow it down. When you need to breathe, try and use Ujjayi breath, what we call voluntary respiration, where you're just breathing to your full lung capacity, taking oxygen deeper into your body. With each exhale, let your body go heavier and softer. down your spine into your hips, into your arms and fingers. Really heavy into your legs and down into your feet. Feel free to spend as long here as you like. I encourage a good couple more minutes, 5-10 minutes. But whenever you feel completely rested is when your body has settled after that big stretch and you've had a few moments of peace. You can gently, slowly roll onto one side and ease yourself up. All right, really well done, amazing work. Hope you enjoyed that practice. Well done for smashing it, and yeah, keep practicing, and you'll feel good for it.